Could forgive the Chicago Bulls for not understanding the difficulty of what they aspired to. After all, they'd lost only 2 playoff games last spring and breezing to their first NBA title. And this year was supposed to be more of the same. Until the wrestling match with New York. The 2 losses to Cleveland. The blown leads against Portland. One measure of their task is to consider the great NBA teams that could not win consecutive championships. For instance, the New York Knicks of Reed, DeBusschere, Bradley, and Frazier. They made the finals 3 times in 4 years, won 2 titles, but not back-to-back. The Larry Bird Celtics made 5 finals and won 3, but never 2 in a row. The Magic Johnson Lakers reached the finals an amazing 8 times in the 80s, but never dug in for a repeat until Coach Pat Riley threw down the challenge after they beat Boston in 1987.
And I'm guaranteeing everybody here, next year we're going to win it again.
Apart from these Showtime Lakers, the only other NBA clubs to repeat as champions were the Detroit Pistons, who immediately followed them, led by Isaiah Thomas and Coach Chuck Daly. The Minneapolis Lakers of George Mikan. And, of course, the Boston Celtics of Russell, Cousy, Auerbach, and other legends too numerous to mention. And now it's Jordan and Pippen, and very importantly, Phil Jackson, who understands the place where NBA history connects to motivation and resolve. It's taken longer than they thought, but tonight, some exclusive company awaits them.
Here's what we want. Give him the ball to the backcourt.
Jordan. Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1992 NBA Finals. Tonight, Game 6 between the Portland TrailBlazers and the Chicago Bulls.
A pleasant and potentially historic Sunday night in Chicago. The 243rd consecutive sellout at Chicago Stadium, and none of the 18,676 here expect to be back on Wednesday night. Instead, tonight, they look for the final affirmation of what 67 regular season victories and a tough but thus far successful playoff run have indicated. For the 2nd year in a row, this is the finest basketball team in the world. Hi again, everyone. I'm Bob Costas. Welcome to Chicago Stadium for Game 6. This is the Larry O'Brien Trophy, named for the late NBA commissioner and emblematic of the league's championship. The Chicago Bulls get to keep it for another year with a victory tonight, or for that matter on Wednesday night, if Portland can force a Game 7. To deny them, the TrailBlazers would have to accomplish one of the great turnarounds in basketball history. Because while they trail just 3 games to 2, the fact is, for the most part, the Blazers have been clearly outplayed. The Bulls have now held the lead 83% of the time in this series. And although Portland did manage to win 1 game at home, the TrailBlazers, who had been 8-0 there against other playoff competition, held the lead, get this, just 7.5 of 144 minutes of basketball in Portland, and that's on their own floor. To win the title, they've got to turn it up several notches on the world champions court. It's possible, sure, but all signs are positive for Chicago, including Michael Jordan's condition. For more on that, we go courtside. Marvin Mike. Marvelous.
All right, Bob, and the story on Michael Jordan, who concluded Game 5 on Friday night with an injured thigh and a twisted left ankle. He hurt the ankle when he fell into a photographer along the baseline on Friday night. This on the follow-through of his jump shot. Now, he has played through a number of injuries through the playoffs, and he told us moments ago that he is okay for tonight.
Marv, the nagging injuries have been a problem, and stamina during the fourth quarter a point of concern. But the bottom line is Michael Jordan is having an incredible playoff series. Averaging over 36 points per game, he has moved into the fourth position of highest scoring average in a championship series. And as a result, is well on his way to winning a second straight Finals MVP.
Now, the last 3 games, the Bulls have exploded right at the start. They have gotten off to very fast starts, and with the Bulls back home and the crowd such a factor here, you know that a quick start by Chicago is a major concern of the TrailBlazers.
Well, this Portland team has shown its resiliency. They bounced back from a 33-point loss in Game 1, then in Game 2, down 10 points with 4.5 minutes remaining. They found a way to win in overtime. But if they're to have a chance this evening, they must avoid the early game deficits and foul trouble they had in their 3 home games. And let's keep in mind that in Games 1 and 2 in this building, the stadium, they did get off to a very good start, played very well early in the game.
So for the Portland TrailBlazers, the season is on the line as we close in on Game 6 of this best of 7. Back with the introductions of the starting lineups in a moment. It is a beautiful 86-degree day in the windy city of Chicago, and indoors it is heating up. Although the Portland TrailBlazers have other thoughts on the matter, Chicago fans looking to tonight as a coronation of the champion Bulls, so the home club will be greeted with hysteria. Here is the public address announcer, Ray Clyde.
To the Chicago Stadium. Tonight, Game 6 of the NBA Finals is between the TrailBlazers and your Chicago Bulls. Now for tonight's lineups. First, Portland TrailBlazers, and forward from Maryland, 6'8", Buck Williams. Forward from Longwood College, Jerome Kersey. At center, 7 foot from Eastern Illinois, Kevin Duckworth. At left guard from Wisconsin, Stevens Point, 6'3", Jerry Porter. At the other guard, 6'7", from Houston, Clyde Drexler. The Portland TrailBlazers are coached by Rick Adelman.
A stirring scene in Chicago during the introduction of the lineups. Now to a man who has made it back to the Midwest from his hometown of Portland after doing a nice job for the Chamber of Commerce. Here's Ahmad Rashad.
Thanks, Bob. I also love Chicago. Now, you would think with all the pressure on the Portland TrailBlazers that their locker room would be a little bit uptight. That was not the case. It was very loose. I talked to Clyde Drexler. He said the reason that we're so loose is we feel like this. We've only won 2 games in this series, but we have not played our best basketball. Hopefully we can do it tonight. In the other locker room on the Bulls side, the only thing they talk about, the only thing that was missing last year when we won the the championship was we won it away from home. That will change. Not only will we win the championship here at home, we will also win it tonight.
All right, Ahmad, and no team in NBA history has ever come back from a 3-2 deficit in the finals by winning the last 2 games on the road. The trailing team has come back 5 times to win in 7 games, but never with 2 road victories.
Presenting the honorary first ball.
And now, for the ceremonial opening tip, receiving an ovation from the crowd, one-time Chicago Bull, Bob Butterbean Love, the second all-time Bull scorer behind Michael Jordan. Bob Love played for the Bulls from 1968 through 1976. And hearing it from the crowd, it's Tom Bullwinkle, one-time Bulls teammate, giving him thumbs up. Tom is a member of the Bulls broadcast crew. The officials, Ed T. Rush, Mike Mathis, and Hugh Evans. Ron Kersey and Horace Grant on the opening tip, and John Paxson controls for the Bulls.
We want to look early to see if there are any unusual matchups taking place defensively for Portland. Right now, it looks like they're trying to go straight up. A switch now has put Porter on Pippen immediately.
Cartwright looking to go right at Duckworth. Yes. And Porter met by Paxson. Porter beating Paxson, but he missed the layup. Rebounded by Duckworth. Well, Porter looking to get into it early, and he's called for the offensive foul. Terry Porter has struggled to get his shots. The other night, in Game 5, he went 0 for his first 6 before he was able to hit.
And when you lose your confidence, you have a tough time making decisions. This should have been a pull-up right there, about the 10-foot marker. Pull up and shoot that in-between jumper. Cartwright was planted the entire time.
And recall the previous game, Game 4, Porter was able to manage only 7 shots from the floor. Pippen worked off the pick. Cartwright open. Drexler moves down.
Portland trying to come out of the gates quickly to avoid the early deficits they had in the last 3 games and then stay out of foul trouble, the other point of concern.
But the Blazers have opened up with some poor shots. Pippen had it broken up by Williams. And it will be Portland ball. Last touch by Pippen.
The veteran official Eddie Rush making the signal one way and then realizing that he had pointed the wrong way. Enough presence, confidence, okay? And the fact that he's been around so long, you change it. You make it right if it's wrong and you have a chance to do it.
Kersey played by Pippen. Goes to the alley-oop. Cartwright hits the floor and deflected it out of bounds. So the Blazers 0 for their first 5.
You sit on the other side.
Oh, what a play by Pippen. And he was able to deflect it. No, apparently not. He stepped out before he deflected off Kersey, and Portland maintains possession.
I think Mike Mathis is saying that Pippen was out of bounds when he touched the basketball, therefore the possession goes over to Portland. Out of bounds, on the line, possession Portland.
There's Porter. Rebounded by Cartwright. So Terry Porter, in this opening minute and 45, has matched his shots attempted as Paxson was able to take the pass from Pippen, beat his man along the baseline for a 4-0 Chicago lead. Here's Porter. And Terry Porter has come out firing away. I started to say he had only 3 shots at the half on Friday night. That was his 4th attempt, although with the foul, he will go to the line. Horace Grant called for the personal.
Obviously, you can see that Terry Porter has come out and himself tried to change his whole thing around, trying to get his team off to a quick start. He feels he cannot be the laid-back guard that just distributes right now. Someone needs to step forward. Problem could be if too many guys try to do it at the same time. They have to have the right blend and understanding of who's got it going and who doesn't.
over the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. Terry Porter was magnificent. He averaged 23 points. He shot 53%. Hit 34 of 65 from three-point land. He scored 30 or more 4 times over those first 3 rounds, but it's been a different story against the Bulls.
You can see Portland extending its defense, trying to put the pressure out there. It's a straight matchup. Point guard against point guard, big guard against big guard, small forward, small forward. I think the key will be Kersey's ability to guard Pippen. That's their area of concern.
Right. Won't count. And Rush with the call against Duckworth. Duckworth called for the elbow on Cartwright. So Pippen will throw in. The Bulls 4 and the Blazers 2 were just underway. Scottie Pippen coming off a very strong performance on Friday night. Kersey putting the move on Jordan. Kersey with the tip, and he's tied the game at 4.
Phil Jackson mentioned to us earlier today that one of the areas of concern, the ability of Portland to put it on the floor, to steal, and now the slam dunk by Kersey. He gets 3 or 4 of those a game just because he has the ability to run out and fill a lane.
And the Blazers take a 6-4 lead. Portland came out intent on not allowing Chicago to get off to the blistering start.
It's the extra effort and the athleticism of Kersey that enables him to, was it a bad shot off balance? Right, but then he corrects it by following it back up on the offensive boards.
Portland foul was called on Bud Williams. Good defense by the combination of Kersey and Porter, but it's turned over by Kersey. It is a double dribble.
As Jerome tried to bust out of the pack, after the deflection takes place, the good hands there by Porter gets a piece. Kersey comes up with the steal. Now, as he gets going, he takes it, picks it up, puts it right hand to left hand. You can't do that.
Chicago scored the first 4 points. Portland the next 6. Here's Pippen, and he's tied the game at 6. Kersey played by Pippen against Drexler, and it's rejected by Jordan. Michael Jordan with the rejection. He had some help from Cartwright.
Well, they front the post to make the lob pass take place. The good rotation by Bill stops him from getting the layup, and then you got Michael coming from behind your head, which is always dangerous.
It will be Chicago ball.
When Michael's gas tank was running a little bit empty in those first 4 games down the stretch, we noticed that one area, blocked shots, he had 0 for the first 4 games. He picked up 1 in Game 5. Already he has 1 here in Game 6.
And he was the number 2 shot blocking guard in the NBA behind Reggie Lewis of the Boston Celtics. And we get the whistle. The ball deflected out by Horace Brent, according to Ed Rush. Portland has opened up, hitting only 2 of 11 from the field. Kersey rebounded by Duckworth. So Portland leads by the score of 8-6.
Turnovers and rebounds, 2 key figures that have stood up each game. The 2 areas that Portland will try and concentrate on. Reduce their turnovers, get on the glass.
Michael Jordan yet to attempt a shot. Shot clock at 4. Eludes the double team. And again, Portland on the run. The Bulls able to get back. Drexler stopped by Paxson, and then Jordan able to hustle it back.
The Chicago defense is always swarming, so when you turn your back for a second, somebody else is coming at you.
And Drexler stumbling threw it away. The Bulls take a timeout. A shaky start by both teams. 5 minutes gone by. most of the series, Chicago has had the lead. They have dominated in this department, as you can see by the numbers. Now, the last 3 games, Portland has started very slowly. We talked about this with Danny Ainge and asked why the slow starts.
It's typical for our team to start slow. Clyde is a guy that kind of gets a feel for the game and gets going as the game goes along. I think in contrast to that, the Bulls, Michael is the type of player that, similar to Larry when I played with Bird in Boston, likes to come out right from the get-go and get going and then kind of coast through until he's needed again. And I think it's just a contrast in styles, and it's really hurt us.
It's interesting how the great players can pick and choose which way they would like to come out to start a game. Earlier, when we spoke to Michael before the game, he had mentioned that tonight he does not want to come out real strong as far as scoring. He'd like to get his teammates involved and then pick and choose his spots in the beginning when he wants to try and score.
Well, he's attempted only 1 shot. Came up with that blocked shot a moment ago, so he is, as they say, letting the game come to him. 6:53 remaining. In this first quarter, it's Portland 8 and Chicago 6.
Portland wanted to concentrate on rebounding. Right now, in the early going, a 9-2 advantage on the glass for Portland. Duckworth with 5.
Jordan slicing through, and he drew the foul. He was met by Duckworth, and he put the move on him. Duckworth called for his 2nd foul.
Well, Michael, with the terrific crossover move right to left, he's just too quick for the big man to come out and try and play him, Duckworth.
Now Cliff Robinson replaces Kevin Duckworth, who was called for his 2nd. That was called a non-shooting foul. Kevin Duckworth had 5 rebounds here at the start. And the foul called on Cartwright. Offensive foul. Cartwright attempting to set up, looking for position against Robinson. And in the process, he picked up his first foul.
And they don't want to let the offensive man hold. The right arm right there holds Robinson so he can't come around and defend.
Robinson went short, but Kersey is right there. A strong start for Kersey. Blazers 10, the Bulls 6.
Let's go back to game 1, the blowout here when Chicago took the TrailBlazers apart. Only 25 minutes of playing time for Duckworth because of early foul problems. Only 18 minutes for Buck Williams. They have to stay out of foul trouble.
Cartwright working his way in. And it will be Portland ball. When the Bulls saw the matchup of Cliff Robinson against Bill Cartwright earlier in the season, they felt they did not try to take advantage as much as they should, so they're looking for Cartwright here. Meanwhile, Robinson from the outside. Cliff Robinson, 3 games ago, struggled at 2 of 11, then bounced back with a good one in game 4, 3 of 4 the other night in Portland. Pippen off the board and able to follow. Blazers lead 12-8. Looked like Scottie Pippen took a shot under the nose.
And there's blood on his uniform. The officials are checking to see if there is an open rule, an open cut. According to the NBA rule, they must stop the game. He must come out of the game. They must clean it up and then cover it before he's allowed to continue.
Well, Pippen is saying no, he's all right. The Bulls trainer Chip Schaefer took a look, and now the officials are checking it out.
Scotty, I think, saying that he was bleeding from his nose. He just used the top of the uniform to wipe it and stop the bleeding, but there are no open cuts, evidently.
NBA officials now in the role of Arthur McCanty or Mills Lane. 5.5 remaining in the first quarter. Blazers with the ball. They lead it 12-8, although they've shot only 5 of 16. Chicago 4 for 10. Porter dumps it off. The rejection by Grant. Horace Grant, who had 4 blocked shots the other night and has been a terror in that department against the Blazers, coming up with an emphatic block on Buck Williams.
That was Grant's 14th block in this final series. He's all over the interior area, either changing or blocking shots. It's discouraging. Just when you think you got a clear look, here comes Grant to get a piece, change the entire face of the offensive structure for the team.
Bill Cartwright sitting down. Scott Williams, second-year player from North Carolina, has checked in. He will match with Buck Williams. Just under 5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Robinson. And the rebound handled by Williams. Paxson for 3. Portland 12, Chicago 11.
If you're trying to get your help from John Paxson's side of the floor to stop Michael Jordan off the dribble, he just floats to an open spot, waits for the pass.
Shot clock at 3. Porter with a force, and he hit it and drew the foul. Terry Porter had to hoist it up with the shot clock dropping down. Paxson commits the foul, and Porter will go to the line.
Well, you said it. With the clock running down, Porter knows he has to get it off. Paxson right there getting a hand. The foul takes place on the wrist. Perhaps this will be the thing that gets Porter off that tough shooting stretch he's been involved with.
3-point play for Terry Porter. It's Portland 15, Chicago 11 as we come up on 4 minutes remaining in the first. Offensive foul on Jordan. That's his first.
Well, the officials are not going to let Michael Jordan get away with anything extra. It's the left hand holding Clyde's wrist so that Clyde can't move his feet. Clyde calls it, the officials call it. No extra advantage for Michael Jordan. Not that he needs any.
Very quiet start for both Jordan and Drexler. Now Grant switches off to Drexler. Shot clock at 5. Drexler changed his mind. Porter has to force again. That's an air ball, and it's a 24-second violation.
It's tough enough in the NBA to get a good shot with the shot clock running down on the 5. But against Chicago's defense, with the quickness and size that they have, when you pass the ball back and forth with 5, 4, 3 on the 24-second clock, nearly impossible to get a good look.
Pippen lost control, but was able to recapture. Here's Paxson on a quick release. John Paxson has hit his first 3 shot attempts. He has 7, and the Bulls trail by 2.
Last time it was Michael Jordan. This time it's Scottie Pippen. Drive the seam, kick to Paxson.
Loose ball foul against the Bulls. It's on Paxson. Second committed by Paxson. And now Rick Adelman calls for time with 3:08 to go in the first quarter.
Out 2 jumpers in the offensive end. Paxson a little over-aggressive going for the rebound. The body contact to Porter. Personal foul, number 2 on Paxson. B.J. Armstrong reports to the scorer's table. He will replace John Paxson on the floor.
And Paxson has had the hot hand, 3 for 3, including a 3-pointer, 7 points. In this series, he's knocked down 7 out of 15 from 3-point land. Here's B.J. Armstrong coming on. So Jordan and Armstrong in the backcourt for the Bulls. Scott Williams up front with Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant. 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Jordan with the interception. The Bulls trail 15-13.
4th turnover in this first quarter for Portland.
And Jordan is fouled.
Because Chicago anticipates so well, in particular Michael Jordan, the passing lanes are most dangerous. You have to be sure before you pass the basketball. Crisp, short passes.
Clyde Drexler, who was in foul trouble throughout the game on Friday night with 4 in the first half, was called for his first. Again, a non-shooting foul. Now Jordan posting up Drexler. Knight played him well. Jordan passed on the 3. Finds Grant. Oh, what a play by Horace Grant. And he's tied the game at 15.
And Danny Ainge had mentioned to us earlier that one of the problems with double-teaming Jordan on the perimeter is that he hangs in the air so long, you just don't know where he's going to drop the ball off at the end.
Robinson, yes. Cliff Robinson with his second field goal. He has 4, and the Blazers lead at 17-15. Now Jordan being played by Kersey. Armstrong.
2 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Just under 2 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. Clyde Drexler throwing it away. He thought he had a teammate on the far side.
The decision-making ability of Michael Jordan, when he gets in the air, he now has 3 defenders occupied. It's just a matter of picking out the right man. That time it was Grant.
Danny Ainge has checked in. Grant from Armstrong. Bulls caught the Blazers relaxing. They did not get back.
Chicago's team tests you mentally in all facets, every area. If you fall asleep on an inbounds pass, they'll try and get a quick one on you. If you're lazy on a pass, they'll intercept it by cutting in the passing lane. They make you execute and pay attention 48 minutes.
Buck Williams called for the foul. And Grant to the line. And now Kersey makes his return, and Buck Williams sits down after picking up his second. It has been a quiet series for Buck Williams. As Bob mentioned right at the start of the game, he's bothered by a bruised heel. Nice pass from Grant, finding Williams. And the game is tied at 17. Good setup from Porter. Blazers lead 19-17. Jordan. And that is his first field goal. Bulls and Blazers and 19 apiece. Kersey able to penetrate. 8 points for Kersey. The Blazers lead by 2.
And that's the freewheeling type of attack that the TrailBlazers want to get involved with. Couple passes, put it on the floor, break down the defense.
Last couple of times down, Drexler getting some help with Jordan. Williams rejected by Robinson. Here comes Porter. And it's Kersey again, giving Portland a 23-19 lead. Ainge with the steal. Kersey for Drexler. Rebound, Kersey. Jerome Kersey with a magnificent first quarter. This is his style, and he has really hurt the Bulls. 6 of 11, 12 points. Blazers lead 25-19. 15 seconds to go in the first quarter. Down to 5. Jordan. And it will be Blazer ball with 2 seconds remaining. That's the end of the first. A good spurt by the TrailBlazers. And they lead the Bulls by the score of 25-19.
Good defense will produce easy offense. The block shot that time by Robinson helps to trigger the fast break. Blazer basketball, get out, fill the lanes, and then the ability to convert at the end. Porter getting Kersey involved early in the game, and then turning the tables around, paying attention to some sloppy play. The steal takes place on the inbounds pass. Danny Ainge heads up at all times. Don't get careless. The TrailBlazers make it pay at their end of the floor again. The transition game.
So big quarter for Jerome Kersey, leading the way with 12 of the 25. After 1 in Chicago, Portland with a 25-19 lead. Jerome Kersey, for the most part, has been outplayed in the series by Scottie Pippen, but he's come on the last 2 games. He was a key to the victory in Game 4, played well in Game 5 on Friday night, and here in the first quarter, 6 of 11, 12 points, and 5 rebounds.
The reason that it's so important is because they are relying on Kersey to play Pippen defensively and keep pressure on him. Pippen leads the Chicago team in assists. The offense runs through him. So if they can keep pressure on him, obviously it will affect their offensive efficiency. If you get him pumped up at the offensive end, maybe he'll work hard at the defensive end.
Shot clock down to 3. Drexler for 3. Oh, he got the roll. Clyde Drexler has come out with a different personality here in the first half. He's looking to give up the ball. Perhaps the thought that the shot selection was not wonderful in Game 5, and whether it's the coaching staff or Clyde himself, but you can see he has started the game differently. Shot clock at 3. And Michael Jordan drills it home for his second field goal. He has 4. Blazers lead 28-21.
I think that's the way Clyde wants to play, Michael. Challenge him a little bit, but back off so you don't get beat with that first quick long step. Make him make some jump shots before you come out and really get up tight on him.
Oh, pretty pass off the dribble by Robinson. Cliff Robinson with a good start. Blazers lead by 9. So that stat earlier, the Chicago Bulls during the course of this series have led for 78% of the minutes played coming into tonight. Jordan rebounded by Clyde, had it knocked away, and the Blazers are back on it. Well, in the first quarter, Portland trailed for only 2 minutes of the 12. Here's Drexler passing the 3. Drexler on the tip. Jordan changed his mind with the 3-point opportunity. Pippen, tough angle shot. And it will be Portland possession.
Clyde Drexler with the 3 gets the real good roll. This thing grabs the rim, finds a way to get back in again. He'll take it anyway. Just so long as Clyde knocks him out, it will open things up on the interior for this Portland team.
Drexler getting inside. Easy opportunity for Drexler, who now is 2 of 8.
Well, he's had 2 layups the last 2 times down. Once he puts them in, things will work out.
Pippen drawing the double team momentarily. Shot clock at 5. Now to 1. Pippen. It's a 24-second violation.
Portland should feel real good about itself right now defensively. They're denying, they're moving their feet, they're getting good help, not getting beat off the dribble.
Timeout taken by Phil Jackson. Welcome back to Chicago, where the Blazers lead by 9. Early in the second quarter, there's Phil Jackson in his 3rd year as coach of the Bulls. Led them to a title last season. I asked Phil, what are the major differences between gunning for the NBA championship this year as opposed to a year ago?
Well, last year was it was a honeymoon. It was you know, everything was successful. We tried a lot of things that were unique and special, and they just seemed to all work. It was a kiss of you know, the beloved almost. Today's been this year's has been an odyssey. It's been a journey filled with travail and pitfalls and you know, carping and little things that are going on, and it's been tough. It's been a real hard road.
Yes, it has been a very difficult run for the defending champions through the playoffs. Extended to 7 by the Knicks, 6 on the Cavaliers. Kersey with the intended pass to Williams. And the ball goes back to Chicago. So Buck Williams back on the floor. He's playing with 2 fouls. He's matched with Horace Grant. 3 minutes in. Second quarter. The Blazers lead by 9. Michael Jordan sitting down. So Scottie Pippen running the club is able to hit on his 3rd field goal. He has 6. And it's Portland 30, Chicago 23. Bobby Hansen replacing Michael Jordan. And Hansen is guarding Ames. Kersey got the step. He has 14 points. Jerome Kersey in his 8th season out of Longwood College in Virginia. He's become one of the most physical, explosive, small forwards in the NBA. And Hugh Evans with the call. It's a pushing foul on Danny Ainge.
With Chicago going over the top, Pippen winds up high side. It gives Kersey a chance to put it on the floor baseline and then splits the next defender rotating over.
Well, Kersey, another successful example of Portland going after the terrific athletes, even if they're raw. And Kersey has certainly come a long way from Longwood College in Virginia. Pippen for three. Cuts the lead to 6. And the call against Portland. Jerome Kersey for the offensive foul. Here's another look.
After Pippen makes the shot, it's in transition as they're running back down the floor. Kersey trying to hold Pippen up and then delivers the forearm. Not going to get away with that.
And Rick Adelman looking to settle things down. Takes Kersey out. Duckworth checks in. So Kersey with 14 points, 6 rebounds. He has been able to ignite the TrailBlazers in this first half. That three-pointer by Pippen is first of this series. He missed his previous 6 attempts. Cartwright, yes. It's Portland 32 and Chicago 28. Defense from the crowd. And the offensive foul on Duckworth. He got entangled with Hansen and is called for his third.
I'm not so sure this isn't a pretty good acting job by Hansen. You're talking about a guy that's close to 300 pounds. When he's backing up, it's only natural you're going to fall down.
The Blazers want to talk it over. They call for time.
Jerome Kersey was on a roll. He had scored 14 points, but then he committed a personal foul. As he came out, he questioned, why are you taking me out? Rick Adelman said it's 3 fouls. Personal fouls are a problem. We got to get you out. Then when Rick checked back with his bench and they checked their stats, they realized that Kersey actually had only 1 personal foul. In looking up at the scoreboard, there was misinformation up there. Adelman read it the wrong way. Kersey was taken out of the game. As we come back to play now, Kersey's on the floor.
Yes, Jerome Kersey with only 1 foul. My thought was that perhaps he was taking him out to settle him down, but he thought he had 3 fouls on him. So Kersey, as you say, is back. Chicago in the midst of a 7-2 run without Michael Jordan over the last minute and 59.
You know, going back to that situation, it probably was a good move that he came out of the game. Get him relaxed, settle back down again after that foul that he had picked up on Pippen with the elbow.
Now Drexler being guarded by Hansen. Kersey met on a switch. Drexler. Loose ball foul. Called on the Bulls. Let's go over to Ahmad.
All right, Mike and Marv. Part of that confusion was that Mike Sheminsky, the trainer, was not keeping a correct count of how many fouls that Kersey had. Rick Adelman extremely upset at Sheminsky.
All right, and here comes Michael Jordan for Bobby Hansen, who committed that foul. 6:40 remaining in the first half. With the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello, and Ahmad Rashad. Drexler, he was pushed.
The problem with the Portland offense at times is that with their passing game motion offense, it becomes very congested. The spacing is not good. As a result, you try and make passes in close quarters. Too many bodies. You have 6, 8 bodies all in the paint area there. It makes it tough to see, deliver, and catch, and then convert at the end.
Drexler to the line. He was pushed by Grant. At one point in the series, Clyde hit 28 straight. At the free throw line, he's off to a slow start. As you can see, only 2 of 9 from the field. 7 points for Drexler. It's the Blazers 34 and the Bulls 28.
It's a deceiving 2 for 9 though, because he's had some real good shot opportunities, which normally he's going to make the inside layups.
Robinson.
That's the pressure defense, the hands. The second time we've seen it pay off. Robinson, earlier Porter with the good hands, caused the turnover.
Cliff Robinson has had a strong all-around first half. Nice feed. Robinson from Kersey, and the Blazers lead 36-28.
Spacing that time much better for Portland. They were spread out. They had Chicago's defense extended. Therefore, you can run back doors and make passes in the open passing lanes.
Here's Pippen. And Buck Williams with the box out. Here's Porter for Robinson. Drexler passed on the three. And it's rebounded by Jordan. Picked off by Porter. 2-on-1. Jordan back. Drexler goes right at him. Blazers with their biggest lead of the night.
Terry Porter back in transition defense. Caught in a 2-on-1. Played the middle linebacker role. Eyes seeing the whole floor. Anticipated the pass. And then went and picked it off.
It's a 10-point lead for Portland. B.J. Armstrong. And it's swept by Clyde Drexler. Porter stumbling, but able to get it to Kersey. Drexler around Cartwright. Once again, it's Drexler on the drive. Blazers lead 40-28. And the Bulls calling for time. Couldn't get the timeout. The ball was knocked out of the hands of Armstrong, and last touch by Armstrong as the Bulls were trying to indicate the timeout, and they may have relaxed for an instant. It will be Portland ball when we come back following the timeout.
And Porter caught 2-on-1, caught right behind him. Pippen trying to fill the left lane, comes up with the steal, and then lets Drexler be the decision maker. Makes a nice decision. Clyde goes by Cartwright. He knows there's a mismatch there, and then Jordan try and get there a little bit too late.
Bob Costas back at Chicago Stadium. Now coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll be joined live by two of the NBA's best coaches, the Knicks' Pat Riley and the Nets' new man, Chuck Daly. Both have a first-hand knowledge of what Phil Jackson is trying to do this evening, win back-to-back NBA titles for the Bulls. Riley, of course, did it with the Lakers in '87 and '88, and Chuck Daly's Pistons turned the trick the next 2 years. We'll get their thoughts coming up in just a few minutes on the Prudential Halftime Report. By the way, this happens to be Flag Day, Marvin Mike, but if the Bulls are going to grab the banner tonight, they'll have to kick it in gear down by 12. Let's go back down courtside.
All right, Bob. And Portland with that 12-point lead, and just before the timeout was indicated, B.J. Armstrong forced into the turnover. Good pressure by Cliff Robinson. Was last touched by Armstrong.
And John Paxson had been up at the table ready to report in. He was on his way back because he knew Phil Jackson had signaled for the timeout.
Chicago, with Jordan sitting down getting a rest, outscored Portland 7-2. And one of those oddities with Michael back on the floor, Portland has unleashed 8 straight points, making 10 in a row. Yes, and it counts. Buck Williams with a strong drive, fouled by Scott Williams, and Buck will go to the line.
You don't associate Buck Williams and putting the ball on the floor from the top of the circle, taking it to the basket, but he had the step, put it down with his left hand. Good concentration and conversion.
Buck Williams on the line for the first time. The Blazers 43, the Bulls 28. Portland playing for its playoff life. And they've jumped in front by 15, hoping to tie the series at 3 to force a 7th game here in Chicago on Wednesday. The Bulls seeking to wrap it up. Pippen rejected and fouled by Kersey.
Well, the defense is swarming right now for Portland, and with their athleticism, they have the ability to change and block shots. That time, the block was good. It was the left hand in the back. That's where the foul was called.
An 11-0 run overall by the Blazers. And that now is number 2 committed by Jerome Kersey. Pippen to the line for the first time.
Scottie Pippen picking up his free throw shooting after he had some difficulties in Game 4. So the Blazers lead it by the score of 43-30. 3:45 remaining. First half, and Haynes lost it.
What you want to do is try and have the guy bring the ball up the floor against who you feel is the weakest defender, the guy least likely to put pressure on the ball. They felt that the matchup of Paxson on Ainge, that would be the best way. Bring it up with Danny Ainge, take some pressure off the other guys. Didn't work out that way.
Brown trying to get the Bulls back into it. Jordan drew the foul. It's a chant we have not heard during the playoffs. Let's go Bulls from this capacity crowd at Chicago Stadium. Michael Jordan to the line for the first time. Michael coming into tonight's game with an injured thigh and a twisted left ankle, although he told us prior to the game that he's all right. He has played through a host of injuries right through the playoffs. Here's Terry Porter coming back. And he replaces Cliff Robinson, who had an excellent first half.
Cliff Robinson, not only his ability to score the basketball, but he is a highly skilled player. He passes, he finds open people, blocks shots at the defensive end, gives you a little bit of everything, and then flexibility as far as where you want to play him. Big forward, small forward, even the center spot at times.
Robinson 4 of 6, 8 points. Portland 43. Chicago 32.
Chicago now extending its defense with their trapping defense. Grant up on the ball. Portland wants to attack this for scores if it can.
Porter giving the three. Terry Porter with the three-pointer. Portland so successful during the course of the regular season and the earlier rounds of the playoffs from three-point land, but they have had a horrendous time of it in this series. Today, though, they've hit 2 of 3 from downtown. Michael Jordan has 8 points, and the Blazers now lead 46-34.
Prior to today's game, they were 8 for 45 in this series, just over 17% from the three-point line.
Drexler tried to save it. Jordan able to recapture. Reset it. Shot clock at 5. Pippen checking the clock. Pippen off the spin. Rebound Williams. Williams again, and he pops it out. Jordan for 3.
You're not going to believe this when I tell you, but he really didn't shoot that one well. It wasn't the kind of look that he wanted. It was more of a line drive type shot than his normal arc behind the three-point line.
So the Portland lead is now 9. They've led by as many as 15. Terry Porter.
You have to use your timeouts wisely in this building against Chicago. Don't let them get on a roll. Keep the crowd out of it if you can.
Drexler knocking it away. Shot clock at 9. Jordan. Scott Williams, and he's called for a timeout.
Well, ball up on the glass, and Scott Williams, a big, wide body, keeps it alive and then kicks it back out deep. Michael Jordan calls for it and says, I'll take it from here. Shoots a line drive 3, knocks it out at the bottom. And again, the big, wide body on the glass with the good hands, giving Chicago second chance opportunities. Surrounded that time, he decided to utilize the 20-second timeout and save what could have been an errant pass.
5 rebounds for Scott Williams, 3 from the offensive glass. 1:50 remaining in this first half, and Portland with a 46-37 lead. The Blazers led by as many as 15, but Chicago has turned it off a 9-3 run. Now the Blazers have called for a 20-second timeout.
This might be a good opportunity to take Porter and put him outside on Michael Jordan. Jordan's gone by Drexler the last couple of times off the dribble. Perhaps Clyde a little bit fatigued right now. Take Clyde, put him down against Pippen, who's not as quick off the dribble as Jordan. Play Porter on Jordan, play Drexler on Pippen to change the matchup, give a guy a chance to catch his breath.
You mentioned right at the start that Michael Jordan is having one of the remarkable playoff series of all time. Clyde Drexler has had his ups and downs, although he's averaged 25 a game. But the stats can be deceiving. For example, back in Game 5, he did score 30 points, but he did not shoot well, and his shot selection also certainly could be questioned. Scottie Pippen, rebounded by Clyde Drexler. Drexler, though, has sparked his Blazers the last couple of minutes now from three-point range. Rebounded by Grant. 3-on-2. It's Pippen kicking it out to Paxson. Rebounded by Pippen. Now Jordan for three. Yes! So Portland leading by 6. The Bulls in the midst of a spurt. Terry Porter able to answer. Looks like the stroke has returned for Porter.
Remember, when you take long perimeter jump shots and they're not going down, you get long rebounds off the rim. And with this Chicago team, they run out so well, you want to try and control that. Take high percentage shots, particularly when you come in shooting at 17% from the three-point line.
Scott Williams to the post-up move. His second field goal off the good fake, and he's brought Chicago within 6 with a half-minute left in this first half. Nice pass from Drexler, and he's fouled. Scott Williams called for the foul on Buck Williams.
An excellent look that time by Clyde. Williams had turned his head for a split second, lost sight of Buck Williams as Buck ran the backdoor move. Little pump fake, ball fake to get him in the air, and then the contact on the arms.
Scott Williams hears it from the crowd as Clifton Livingston checks in. 4 points, 5 rebounds for Scott Williams. Coming up on the Prudential halftime report, we will hear live from the two coaches who most recently won back-to-back NBA titles. Pat Riley, who did it with the Lakers in '87 and '88. And whose Knicks took the Bulls to 7 games this year. And Chuck Daly, who won consecutive championships with the Pistons in '89 and '90. They'll join Bob Costas and Quinn Buckner. Coming up on the Prudential halftime report.
Chicago will use its opener spread set. Let Michael Jordan try and break down Clyde Drexler off the dribble. If they come in double team, they'll have Paxson spotting up, they'll have Pippen spotting up, and then send Grant and Livingston to the glass. Portland trying to get the ball out of Jordan's hands early.
Drexler poked it away. Jordan got it to Paxson for 3. Rebound Pippen, and he drew the foul as time runs out. Pippen was hacked, and he will go to the line. The foul committed by Kersey. That his 3rd. Zeros on the clock. No time remaining. And Pippen to the line. He is 2 of 2 from the free throw line. 76% for the season. And the officials are waving the players off the line. Say it is tougher to shoot the free throws without players lined up.
You feel lonely. You're out there by yourself. You know there's 20,000 people in here looking at you. There's nobody around to give you any support on either side.
Scottie Pippen hits the free throws. So the Blazers by 6 at halftime. Clyde Drexler
Drexler did not shoot well, 4 of 13 for his 11 points. Michael Jordan coming on late in the second quarter, finished at 5 of 10 for his 14. Bob and Quinn coming up. They'll be shouting with Pat Riley and Chuck Daly. It's Portland with the lead at the half. We'll be back in a moment.
Halftime at Chicago Stadium, and if there is to be a celebration here tonight, it will not be easy. The Blazers surprising the Bulls 50-44, although they did lead by 15 at one point, and Chicago closed the half on a 16-7 run to get to within 6. Welcome to the Prudential Halftime Report. Bob Costas, along with Quinn Buckner, Pat Riley, and Chuck Daly in just a moment. First, a thought on this first half.
Well, then I watched the first half. I thought the Bulls came out flat, and Portland took advantage of it. They started getting to some loose balls, but then right at the 7:57 mark in the second quarter, all of a sudden, there was this foul by Kersey, and you could see the energy come up in Chicago, and since then, Michael Jordan has turned it up, and now the flow has definitely moved back in favor of Chicago.
But no matter what, no matter the outcome, the Blazers have not come here to simply hand it over. They've come here to show that they'll make the Bulls work for it.
Well, I think this is one of the best positions the Blazers can be in, and when you think about this, they don't have anything to lose by laying it on the line. So they came and they played their hearts out in the first half. The question is, can they get enough out of themselves in the second half?
Okay, the NBA went 19 years without a team repeating as champions. From the 1969 Celtics, Bill Russell's last year, to the 1988 Los Angeles Lakers. After the Lakers repeated, Detroit stepped in and won back-to-back titles in 89 and 90. The gentlemen who coached those Laker and Piston teams respectively, Pat Riley and Chuck Daly, join us now from Los Angeles and Detroit. And guys, before we talk about the specific question of repeating, a thought on this first half. Let's start with you, Chuck. Has Portland's performance surprised you?
Well, I think Portland's a better club on the road, frankly, every series they've ever played. But I think Jordan and company will prevail at the end.
Pat, Chuck did it with Detroit before you guys did it with the Knicks. This year, earlier in the playoffs, you went at the Bulls in a very physical fashion. Is that the only way to go against Chicago?
Well, Bob, I don't think you can play them conventional. I do think you have to get up into them. You can't give them any kind of airspace. You really want to have them put the ball on the floor and take it into the gut of the defense where you can get some help. So you have to play a physical game with them as much as you can. Otherwise, they'll just tear you apart.
Of course, what people say, Chuck, is you can only play what your personnel dictates. So Lenny Wilkins with Cleveland and maybe Rick Adelman with Portland can try to be a bit more physical than usual, but they can't do what the Pistons did. They can't do what the Knicks did. They don't have the same personnel.
No, I agree, and they've got to play their own game, and they're an athletic, high-scoring team that makes a lot of mistakes, pushes the ball, and takes shots. Some nights they fall, some nights they don't. First half, they've been playing extremely well.
Well, Pat, you now coach the Knicks, but obviously, having coached in the Western Conference, you played Portland quite a bit. What would you do if you're Portland playing against Chicago with the staff that they have?
Well, I can't hear you real well, but I think what would we do if we would play Chicago?
Knowing Portland as you do, having played against them, what would you do if you had the Portland team going against Chicago here at home today?
Well, I think the way they came out in this game, if they continue to get up into them and not give them any comfort shots, don't allow Paxson to roam for any kind of threes that sort of give them some kind of relief, make them earn every single shot so they can't come back on them. I think they're going to have a great shot to win today, but if they soften up on them at all, anywhere along the way, and don't touch them on and out to the three-point line, then they're going to have a difficult time in the second half. They got to contest every single shot.
We'll talk about the concept of winning back-to-back after the commercial break. But before we go here, Chuck, a question for you. We talked to you a couple of weeks ago when you got the job with the Nets. You said you planned to have a face-to-face with Derek Coleman, who was so difficult for Bill Fitch to handle. Has that happened, and how did that meeting go?
Yeah, I met with both he and Terry Mills along with David Bing right here in this restaurant and had a nice session. I think the kid wants to win. I think he's bright. I think he really has some talent. So I'm looking forward to coaching both of them.
Hey, Pat, you might have thought that you had Chuck Daly out of your hair. First in the finals those years with the Lakers, then this year when he had the Pistons. Now he moves right over into your division.
Just where we want him. If he starts hairspraying his hair, then I know we're in deep trouble. I know that.
It's a wardrobe duel for sure, though, hair or not. We'll continue with Chuck Daly and Pat Riley right after this message from Prudential and a word from the NBA.
of sweeping changes, there is one certainty: the financial strength of the Rock. The Prudential Rock Solid.
Got it! Come on! That boy, fight me! Whoa! Outside jumpers! Uh-oh! Phil! Yes! Game point. Better get tough. Oh! Nice shot. Attaboy, get the ball. Great game. You're getting better all the time.
I'd been to Vegas the night before, and Pat hasn't gotten over that yet when I went to see the fight with Tommy Hearns. But I said, hey, we're going to win this series. We're up 3-0. It's just a case of when you want to do it. I said, let's get it over with. I know you don't want to practice tomorrow.
This happens to be the second anniversary, right on the nose, Chuck, of your back-to-back titles. It was June 14th of '90 when you polished the TrailBlazers off in Portland to end that series in 5. Do you think a lot of this talk about repeating is just a matter of coincidence? I mean, after all, the Celtics had great teams in the 80s, but they always went against the Lakers, so they sort of alternated. Or is there something to it, something psychologically to the idea of repeating?
Well, I think it takes a great deal out of you to do it, but I think the teams, we're seeing errors. LA did it, we did it, now Chicago's doing it. I think we're seeing errors where it's going to happen. Because of the lack of the ability to make trades and make moves, I think one club is going to be dominant for a certain amount of years.
And quickly, a last question for you, Pat. You went out on a limb when you guaranteed the back-to-back titles after you beat the Celtics in '87. You had to be holding your breath the whole year after. Why did you do it?
I think that was the only thing left, Bob, that team had to accomplish. If the criteria for being great in the 80s was that you had to win them back-to-back, then that was our carrot, that was our incentive. And, you know, just to go back and talk about, you know, the opportunity that I had to win them back-to-back, now that Chuck Daly won them back-to-back, I don't know if Phil Jackson wants to win them back-to-back because Chuck and I left about 1.5 years after we won them back-to-back. I don't know if that's such a good thing to do nowadays.
Left, but found other employment, it should be noted. And for the record, Chicago 15-2 in the playoffs last year, 14-7 in the postseason to this point this year. For Quinn Buckner, I'm Bob Costas. We'll return with second half action. The Blazers leading the Bulls here by 6. Our thanks to Pat Riley and Chuck Daly. And we're back with Marvin Mike after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential. Come to the companies of the Prudential and build your future on the Rock.
Back at Chicago Stadium, the Blazers lead the Bulls by the score of 50-44. Now, all year long on our NBA telecast, we have brought you Miller Genuine Draft, Genuine Moments. Well, tonight, the Czar and I have personalized those moments. Here's a look.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments of the NBA Finals.
It is a vision etched forever in the minds of Knicks fans. Willis Reed injuring his hip in Game 5 against the Lakers. The captain would miss Game 6, but return for Game 7 at the Garden.
Here comes Willis, and the crowd is going wild.
20 years down the road, 25 years down the road, I'll be sitting somewhere in some lake fishing, and I would have to say to myself, boy, you know, I wished I had played that night. I wasn't gonna let that happen because that was my moment.
Reed played with courage as he lifted the Knicks to their first NBA title.
Marv, one of my favorite moments was in the 1980 finals when Magic met the Doc. In Game 4, Julius Erving introduced us to the move. It was an incredible acrobatic performance that left our broadcast colleague a bit stunned.
My mouth was like, and I looked at Coop, he looked at me, and I said to him, I said, Coop, you think we should maybe ask him to do it again?
Magic had the last laugh. The rookie played center in Game 6, scored 42 points, and led the Lakers to their first of 5 championships in the 80s.
Finally, Czar, you remember last year. It was a classic case of air defying gravity.
I think that's got to be the most incredible shot I've ever seen. I mean, the hang time on that, I give that a 10.10.
Looking back at some of the major moments in NBA Finals history. We'll be back with our second half after this. Portland led at one point by as many as 15. Chicago ended the second quarter with a 16-7 run. It's a 6-point lead. As we head to the third quarter, a look at tonight's Miller Genuine Draft halftime statistics. Jerome Kersey has come up big, 7 of 13 for 14. Blazers 47%, and the Bulls at 46% shooting for the half.
Cliff Robinson coming off the bench for Portland supplied a number of things, not only scoring on 4 of 6 from the field, but he added his passing ability, found open teammates, and then a big block shot, which led to a fast break score.
Leading scorers in the first half. Portland getting more balance tonight. 14 for Kersey. Drexler with 11. Porter with 10. Michael Jordan did not look to get into it until the second quarter. Had only 2 points in the first quarter. 5 for 10 for the half for 14. Pippen 4 of 10 for his 13-point shot. Paxson hitting the outside shot. 3 of 5, including 1 from 3-point range for 7 points. Game 6 of the best of 7. The Bulls hoping to wrap it to win a second consecutive NBA championship. Portland looking to tie the series, extending to a Game 7 on Wednesday. The Blazers, though, have had all kinds of difficulties in the third quarter in this series.
And they've discussed it, they've talked about it, coming out in the beginning and having a good start. Well, they did that this evening. Now, the third quarter remains to be seen, but this has been a big problem area for them, controlling the third quarter, scoring points in particular.
Crowd here at Chicago Stadium roaring its appreciation as the Bulls take the court. It will be Portland ball as we get underway. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, and Ahmad Rashad, along with Bob Costas and Quinn Buckner, before the usual packed house in Chicago. Kersey looking for the jumper. Now Porter works down low on Paxson. The pass not handled by Buck Williams.
That's the second time that a quick pass has gone through the hands of Buck Williams. Either Buck's got to get those hands up and be ready, anticipating, or got to stop trying to throw him those, thread the needle type passes.
Paxson and Jordan at the guards. Grant, Pippen, Cartwright up front. Drexler jumping out for the steal. Drexler in the open floor, finding Kersey. The crowd looking for an offensive foul as Paxson took a shot and a timeout called by Phil Jackson.
Terry Porter doesn't even realize that there is a ball bouncing behind him after the deflection takes place. Clyde gambles and goes around baseline side. Terry turns just at the right moment. And here's where Chicago wants an offensive foul call, but the officials let it go. Kersey converts. The defensive pressure and steals at the end of the first half, 5-2 in favor of the TrailBlazers. They know if they pick up their steals, it's going to let them get out in the transition game, which is their strength.
So Portland leads 52 to 44. There was some confusion as to whether that was a 20 or a full timeout, and it was a 20-second timeout. Pippen being played by Kersey. Pippen for the three-pointer, and it's rebounded by Buck Williams. Gets it down to Kersey. Kersey on the follow. And it will will be Chicago ball.
Is that the fourth layup this game that Portland has had right at the rim, and just they haven't been able to convert. And credit Chicago also for hustling back and not conceding the score.
Minute and a half gone by in the third. Cartwright lost it off his foot. For Paxson. Here comes Pippen. Drexler turns his back and then called for the foul, and Pippen is hurt. And Clyde over to take a look.
That whole thing started because of the court balance of the Trailblazers. You had Duckworth outside shooting a jump shot with a guard trying to rotate to him. No one covered the backcourt. Suddenly you look up and you have two Chicago Bulls, Pippen and Jordan, out there streaking. Drexler trying to recover and get in front way too late. Pippen, who had back surgery in the offseason, lands on that bad spot.
Clyde Drexler, very concerned, went over to check it out. Scottie Pippen indicating that he's all right. The foul on Drexler, his third. Pippen is 5 for 5 from the free throw line. He has 14 points. Portland leads by 7. The Blazers 52. The Bulls 46. Porter for 3. Duckworth came up high to set the pick. And it will be Chicago in possession.
You had Duckworth out there trying to set a screen to give Porter a pick-and-roll situation, but then there aren't too many people on the offensive boards.
Michael Jordan thought he was fouled. Blazers 3-on-2. Oh, what a ball fake by Drexler, and now he's fouled by Pippen.
I think that Scottie Pippen remembered who had committed the foul at the other end of the floor. Pippen chasing him down, going to make sure that he just gets enough of him to send the message back. The numbers, they're out early. The pitch ahead pass by Porter. Pippen not conceding anything easy.
Drexler has hit 3 of 3 from the line. He has 12 points. Portland with an 8-point lead. Clyde Drexler now guarding Michael Jordan with 3 fouls on him. Jordan rebounded by Williams. Bulls able to get back to stifle that fast break attempt. Here's Porter. Yes. Terry Porter with 12. Blazers lead 56 to 46.
You're going to have people step up and make big baskets to stop the Chicago runs, because you know that when they get on those streaks, they're most dangerous.
And Paxson was stripped. Duckworth gets it down to Porter. So Portland leads by 12, and Phil Jackson calls for a timeout.
From the beginning of the game, you could see that Terry Porter wanted to take charge. He wanted to be the guy to take some of the pressure off of Clyde Drexler. He does it here off the dribble and changes hands and winds up shooting it lefty in Michael's face. And then after the steal, Porter's gone down the floor. Duckworth with the good long outlet pass leads to the easy score.
Well, for Terry Porter, a native of nearby Milwaukee, although he told us that occasionally he comes to Chicago to check out the Bulls as a youngster. It has been a turnaround tonight. He averaged 18 a game during the regular season. Excellent during the course of the first 3 rounds, but his stats have been down in the finals. But he's been looking for the shot tonight. He's hit 5 of 10 for 14. And you look at the Blazers' playoff scoring as compared to the first 3 rounds, they have fallen off. But in particular, Terry Porter has dipped. almost 9 points per game as compared to his production over the first 3 rounds. Chicago 0 for 3 from the field in this third quarter. Make it 0 of 4. Blazers lead it 58-46. Kersey, yes, and give the assist to Terry Porter.
You know, after the first 4 games, Terry Porter was averaging only 3.5 assists per game. Then he comes out in game 5, has 7 assists in the first half, 1 in the second half. Dribble penetration will lead to good shots for his teammates.
John Paxson hitting the jumper. He has 9, and Portland leads 60-48. 4 minutes gone by in the third. Now Michael Jordan guarding Jerome Kersey. And the blocking foul called on Jordan. That is his second. Getting back to the difference in scoring. The Blazers obviously having a bit more of a difficult time against the Chicago Bulls as compared to the earlier rounds of the playoffs.
Bulls defense is a much different type of defense. They're very aggressive. They take away your passing lanes, and they control tempo. That's the big thing.
Duckworth swinging inside. The Chicago crowd looking for the offensive foul call and looking for a foul on Kersey. But a very strong defensive effort by the TrailBlazers. Paxson, same spot. John Paxson has 11. Porter with a nice pass off the dribble, but a foul was called. Offensive foul on Drexler. That's his 4th.
Duckworth with the up and under move shows Cartwright, comes back with the left hand. Drexler holding off Jordan, the offensive foul call because both arms are wrapped around Michael.
Well, a critical call against the Blazers. Drexler playing with 4. He picked up 4 in the first half the other night, and that is an offensive foul on Cartwright.
And there's some decision-making to be made by Adelman. First, a look at the 2 big bodies down low inside. The move by Cartwright swinging in on Duckworth. Too much contact, they feel, initiated by the offensive player. Therefore, the offensive foul call.
Portland has asked for a timeout. They lead by 12.
A moment ago, Clyde Drexler was called for the offensive foul for holding Michael Jordan, not allowing Jordan to run around. A close look shows you that the wrist right there is where he grabs and holds on. And earlier, the same call against Jordan. He held Drexler's wrist. They don't allow that. Good call. Now, as Cartwright turns in, smashing Duckworth's nose, the big fella in there with little gauze, and you called it earlier, they need some of those trainers to come in and do some work here.
Well, that was a referee, I was referring to. Boxing referee. Portland by 12. 6:45 remaining in this third quarter. And the Blazers turn it over. Stacey King has checked in for the first time. So King is up front, along with Grant, Pippen, Jordan, and Paxson in the backcourt. Pippen lost it. He thought he was fouled. Phil Jackson now complaining, being waved back to the bench by Ed Rush. But Williams with a rare outside shot. The tip missed by Drexler, then Kersey. Drexler gets it back. And they get the new 24. Here's Kersey. Yes. It has been a magnificent night for Jerome Kersey. He has 20. And the Blazers lead it 64-50. Halfway through the third. Paxson then on a switch by Buck Williams. The mismatch is Drexler and Grant. Paxson to the scoop.
Portland has to make a decision on those dribble handoffs or split screens, whether to stay with their own people or switch. They've decided to switch out, but it leaves a big guy trying to guard a guard off the dribble.
Kersey with an open shot. Jerome Kersey is hitting from all angles. Blazers lead 66-52. Now Porter guarding Jordan. Porter trying to draw the offensive foul. 16 for Jordan.
It's one of the few areas on the floor where Portland knows for sure that it wants to come and double team, and that's when Jordan is down in the low post, but you have to bring him to the double team.
Buck Williams will go to the foul line. Scottie Pippen called for the personal. For Pippen, it is his second. Earlier in this series, we were talking about the improved free throw shooting of Buck Williams when he first broke into the league as a member of the New Jersey Nets. He struggled at the line, but he's come a long way. Buck now 75% from the free throw line. And he's 4 for 4 tonight. You can see the progress that he has made in the finals, shooting better than 90% at the line.
Because of turnovers that they forced, steals, 8 steals, and then offensive rebounds. They have 11 at this point. I'm talking about Portland. They have 10 more field goal attempts right now than the Chicago Bulls do. 56-46 in field goal attempts.
Cliff Livingston checked back in, providing a rest for Scottie Pippen. Blazers by 14. Buck Williams stepping out for the steal. What a play by Buck Williams. Porter with the change of direction. And he thought he was fouled.
Out of control. Dribble penetration out of control.
And Jordan lost it. Livingston recovers. Here's passing from 3. Rebounded by Porter. Blazers have to love this style of play, though. Kersey gets it to Drexler. This is Portland's brand of basketball. They have the tempo going in their direction.
And it's all happened because of their hard work. They're on the glass. They're out in passing lanes. We saw Buck Williams just pick up the steal. Second and third shot opportunities.
Biggest lead of the night. 16-point margin for the Blazers. Trying to tie the series at 3. Forcing a game 7 on Wednesday. Livingston is fouled. That draws the sardonic roar from the crowd.
There have been a number of times that Clyde Drexler has wound up open under the basket. His teammates are finding him. Kersey with the good look, Clyde with the conversion.
Buck Williams charged with his 3rd, and Clifton Livingston will go to the line.
That's all part of the Portland transition game of crossing either the big guard or small forward under the basket after the pass has been advanced to a corner. That time, for Portland, it was advanced to the left corner. Kersey had the ball. Drexler made the cut under the basket.
Portland with the ball and a 15-point lead. 3:40 remaining. 3rd quarter. Kersey guarded by Livingston. Shot clock at 2. Porter. Jordan. And he'll go to the line. Duckworth saying, is it on me? Yes, it is, said Hugh Evans. Duckworth called for his 4th. Well, they say a non-shooting foul. And Livingston will throw in.
They called Duckworth for shoving the screener into where Jordan was trying to shoot the ball, therefore no shot attempt.
Now Jordan is fouled. That counts, and the foul called on Porter.
The team scored.
Jordan knows he can get a good look over Porter. Porter tries to body him out, and then just the touch on the turn is where the whistle is called. Now, with this lead that Portland has of 13 points with Michael shooting, and knowing that Drexler has 4 fouls, just around 3 minutes remaining in this quarter, is it a good time to take him out, rest him, so you have him for the entire 4th quarter with 2 fouls to use? You wouldn't want it to pick up one right now, holding this lead.
Portland by 12. Robinson, dangerous passing by the Blazers. They got away with it, though. Drexler able to hit, and the foul. 17 for Drexler. Livingston called for the foul.
Well, the interior passing is so difficult, but players with good hands. First, Robinson finds a handle, then he looks for an open teammate. Clyde stays after it, finds the handle, and the score, and the free throw opportunity.
B.J. Armstrong come on for John Paxson. B.J. played 10 minutes in the first half, did not score. 2:45 to go in the third, and the Blazers lead by 15 points.
And Adelman is playing Drexler on B.J. Armstrong, Porter on Jordan to avoid the foul situation.
Robinson with the block, and the foul is called. Livingston will go to the line.
First the block attempt, and then the live bodies on the glass. This is what Cliff Livingston goes in the game for, to get second, third shot opportunities, do all the dirty work in the lane around the basket.
So Cliff Robinson with his first. Livingston is 1 of 3 from the line. Evan Duckworth sitting down after picking up his fourth. Well, the Bulls having their problems at the line, while Portland has been terrific. Blazers 13 for 13 at the line. Here's Drexler allowed to penetrate. Jordan putting the move on Porter. Stopped by Drexler. Terry Porter hitting the floor hard, along with Clyde Drexler. B.J. Armstrong called on the foul.
Just a terrific defensive effort by Clyde Drexler. Jordan goes by the first 2 defenders. Drexler running the floor the whole way, setting this up way behind as far as steps, but the perfect timing, and he covers so much ground to get the block and save what looks to be like a sure score. Great defensive play, particularly with 4 fouls on Clyde Drexler. And Jackson can't believe it.
The 5th team foul on the Bulls. Porter is now 4 of 4 from the line. And Drexler will sit down. Drexler with 18 points, but only 6 of 17 from the field. So it's Portland up 75-58 as we come up on 2 minutes to go in the third. Armstrong with his first field goal. Blazers by 15. Here's Porter. And once again, the Blazers control the offensive board.
13 offensive rebounds for Portland.
Terry Porter with 18. Portland leads 77-60. The difference in this game, along with the production of Jerome Kersey, the fact that Terry Porter came out very offensive-minded. Although he did not hit early, it got him into it early. Armstrong with the shot clock down to 1.
But it had to be a combination. Porter asserting himself and Clyde Drexler pulling back a little bit at the beginning of the game to allow Terry to get off. You can't have everyone fighting for shots.
Here's Ainge. Yes. Danny Ainge with his first field goal. Blazers red hot. Now lead 79-62.
Danny Ainge with a good 4-inch advantage over B.J. Armstrong. Just backs him to the spot, shoots over the top.
Jordan to the spin. resulted in an offensive foul on Jordan.
And Jordan felt he should have been shooting a free throw after he scored the basket.
See the differential between the game clock and the shot clock. 5 of the 24. Robinson lost it. Here's Livingston. And it will be Chicago ball with 4 3/10 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
You have to watch for Michael Jordan back cutting and going to the basket for a lob. They like to use this with not too many seconds left on the clock.
John Paxson replacing Cliff Livingston.
With Michael out of bounds also after the pass now. Watch him stepping in quick.
Armstrong. So time runs out in the third. The Portland TrailBlazers outscore the Chicago Bulls 29-20 in the third, and they lead it by 15 as we head to the fourth quarter. We'll be back after these words from your local station. To the fourth quarter in Chicago. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad, Bob Costas, Quinn Buckner. And the Portland TrailBlazers with their best third quarter of this NBA Finals series as they come up with 29 points. They outscore the Bulls 29-20 to lead by 15.
When you go back to game 1 and 2 in this building, 17 points in game 1, 16 in game 2 in the third quarter. Their high so far was a 24-point third quarter last game.
So the fourth quarter is underway. The Blazers hoping to tie the series at 3. That pass intended for Hansen, and a foul called on Ainge, his second. Blazers 11 for 21. Good shooting. Third quarter, the Bulls 8 of 17. Rick Allen providing a rest for Clyde Drexler. Kevin Duckworth has returned. Here's Hansen. That's a 3. Bobby Hansen with his third three-pointer of the series. Hansen on the floor with Michael Jordan getting some time off. Kersey for Robinson. And Kersey stopped by Hansen. Oh, King was wrong. And the Bulls asking for a flagrant foul.
I think the referee has called a flagrant foul. They'll shoot these free throws and get the ball out of bounds on the side. If there's not an intent to play the ball, instead of playing the body, they're going to call that flagrant foul. As King goes up, Kersey rotating over, comes down with the right arm. That follow-through of the right arm is what is going to determine whether or not it's a flagrant foul. Kersey has already been called for one flagrant foul previously in the finals. Rick Adelman doesn't quite agree with the call, obviously.
Stacey King, a 75% free throw shooter. As Kersey involved on that flagrant foul of Scott Williams. And that led to the heated discussion between Danny Ainge and Jerome Kersey. Stacey King, you recall, involved with Danny Ferry back in the series against Cleveland.
You're looking on the floor at Chicago's team, the only starter out there, Scottie Pippen. Sometimes coaches, when they realize their starting unit is out of sync, they make a change. They go with the second unit, second group as they call it, and hope that they can shake things up.
Drexler back. Pippen able to elude Drexler, who did not want to pick up his fifth. So the Bulls have come out roaring at the start of the fourth. The Blazers now lead by 9.
And after that basket, Rick Adelman started to signal timeout, but changed his mind and let him play through it.
Cliff Robinson has said Portland leads 81-70.
and you're playing Stacey King, you have to play him strong with a left-hand drive. He's not going to put the ball down with his right hand and try and beat you to the basket.
Now Portland takes a timeout. We'll be right back.
Genuine moments.
Tonight's Miller Genuine Draft Genuine Moment takes us back to Game 5 of last year's NBA Final. John Paxson took over. He hit 9 of 12 from the field for 20 points, and it was his 5 buckets in the last 4 minutes that sealed the victory as the Bulls celebrated their first ever NBA championship a year ago this past Friday. In recognition of this memorable moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. And John Paxson has done the job tonight. He's hit 6 of 9 for 13 points, including 1 from downtown. Stacey King back to the line. The crowd detecting the possibility of a run by the Bulls, who have been sparked by this unit. Stacey King, Scott Williams, Scott Pippen up front with Bobby Hansen and B.J. Armstrong in the backcourt. Chicago now 12 of 18 from the line. Portland has been perfect. They've hit all 15. So the Bulls, chipping away, have cut that 17-point Portland lead down to 9. Pressure by Chicago. Robinson, rebounded by Williams.
Robinson got caught halfway in between deciding whether to shoot it or give it up to someone else. He was so open, it was like an afterthought. He didn't really want to stroke that one.
Shot clock to 4. Pippen, yes. The Blazers 81. The Bulls 74. And the Bulls are doing it without Michael Jordan on the floor. A double dribble called by Mike Mathis. He hesitated. Scottie Pippen gave the indication, and then the call was made.
Sometimes you just want to be sure that it's the right call before you make it. Scottie Pippen has Drexler down low, uses his size, just muscle it up inside on the post-up move.
Michael Jordan cheering on his team from the bench. A 10-2 run by Chicago, and off that turnover, it will be Chicago ball when we resume.
Mark, I disagree with that last call. You can always pick up a fumbled basketball. He did not try to re-dribble the ball. He lost control, fumbled it, picked it up off the ground. You're allowed to do that.
And the TrailBlazers certainly felt that it was a wrong call. You may have seen the reaction of Rick Adelman. But on the turnover, it comes back to Chicago. They pulled within 7. Phil Jackson staying with this unit. Armstrong. Yes. The Portland lead is down to 5. 9 minutes to go in the fourth. Offensive foul on Portland. It's called on Buck Williams.
It's got to be the toughest thing to stay within what you were doing the whole game when every call, everything seems to be going against you. It takes terrific concentration to try and hold and maintain a lead
senses that it is slipping away from the Portland TrailBlazers. Yes, it is very tough to repeat. Only 4 teams have been able to do it. The Minneapolis Lakers, the LA Lakers, the Boston Celtics, and the Detroit Pistons. The Chicago Bulls trying to repeat. Another Portland turnover. Chicago in the midst of a 14-2 run this fourth quarter. They've hit 5 out of 5 from the field. Michael Jordan has returned. Here's King. Rebounded by Buck Williams. The Blazers have led by as many as 17. They led by 15 at the start of this fourth quarter. It's Drexler. He has 20, and the Blazers now lead by 5.
Now's the decision-making time for Phil Jackson. How long do you go with this unit on the floor? They got you right back in the game. They've used up a lot of energy to do that, and they're not used to playing extended minutes. When do you bring back your main unit?
Armstrong for 3. And it will be Portland ball. Drexler for Robinson. And Scottie Pippen may have gotten away with a travel. Pippen met by Buck Williams. Takes him one-on-one and lost it. Good play by Kersey. Porter trying to push it down. The Bulls able to get back. 7 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. And the Blazers lead by 5. Foul call on Armstrong.
BJ realized that he was in trouble. He got caught guarding Kersey. He took the foul right away rather than let Jerome score a basket right there. Portland must remain aggressive. They must continue to attack, get on the offensive board, get second shot opportunities, play the way they did when they built up that lead.
Here's Drexler. And a traveling violation called on Pippen.
Well, Clyde Drexler had the right idea. Put it on the floor, take it to the basket, try and get the official to blow a whistle to get to the free throw line, build up points that way. But even though no call, they got right back again by the travel taking place. Drexler trying to get it to the front of the rim. No call is made. He misses the shot. But then afterwards, you had a travel, which gives the ball back to Portland.
Robinson forced to a very difficult shot.
Not the type of shot you want at that time.
Here's Pippen.
Rick Adelman is signaling to his team, move the basketball, pass the basketball. Don't just stop after one pass.
Very tentative pass by Kersey, and Jordan comes up with it. And the Bulls will regroup. Pippen trying to post up. Shot clock at 8. Drexler playing with 4. Here's Jordan. Look out of his calls for time.
Scottie Pippen with the ability to put it on the floor. One dribble from the top of the circle, then he's at the rim for the conversion. Michael, on the other hand, taking the floater just over the outstretched arm.
The Chicago Bulls have come back from a 17-point deficit. They are down by only 1 with just under 6 minutes to go in the fourth. The Blazers down to 1 timeout remaining.
And the key thing is that the next mandatory timeout, in other words, when the game is stopped because of its protocol with the NBA, at a certain point it stops. 2:59 is the mark. They only have 1 left, so they have to space it out wisely.
Protocol meaning a television timeout.
Yes. TV timeout.
Get those commercials in so they can pay your salaries on. Chicago with an 18-4 advantage in this fourth quarter. The Blazers have led most of the way. Portland wants a goaltend. Porter was fouled by Armstrong. They will not get the goaltend call.
Take the ball to the basket, try and draw the foul, try and quiet the crowd. Portland wanted the goaltend call. No goaltend.
Terry Porter is 5 for 5 from the line. So Portland 16 of 16 from the foul line.
Their claim was, Portland, that the backboard was touched while the ball was up on the glass. If that's the case, it should be a goaltend then if it's touched while the ball is on the glass.
B.J. Armstrong sitting down, replaced by John Paxson. B.J. leads with 6 points. Paxson has had the hot hand throughout. Portland by 2. The Blazers 85, the Bulls 82. Chicago back to Jordan and Paxson at the guards. Pippen, King, and Williams up front. Stacey King has played a major role. Shot clock to 5. Down to 3. Pippen for 3. 24 for Pippen, hitting the three-pointer with the shot clock down to 2. Terry Porter able to come back. That's his 7th field goal. He has 22. The Blazers 87. The Bulls 85.
Portland played defense as well as you can play. Pippen just knocked out a sensational shot.
Just under 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Michael Jordan. Yes. The game is tied at 87. Jordan has 25. The TrailBlazers hoping to send this series to a 7th and final game Wednesday here in Chicago. Drexler rejected by Scott Williams. Jordan for 3. Rebounded by Pippen. The Blazers and Bulls tied at 87. The backdoor pass picked off on the deflection. Jordan with the steal. The first time Chicago has led since the opening minutes when they had a 4-2 lead. Here's Drexler. And the game is tied at 89.
Something that Chicago has done throughout the series is hang in on the rebounders. You must pay attention and protect the basketball.
Jordan unhappy with the hand checking of Drexler. King played by Williams. Stacey King. Crowd wanted offensive interference. We're approaching 3 minutes to go in the fourth. Drexler. Scott Williams comes up hobbling as Chicago calls for time.
Whether it's the bad thigh or the injured ankle, Michael Jordan has used this floater a number of times in the game thus far, not going all the way to the rim, but pulling up in between to get a good look. Clyde, on the other hand, beats Michael off the dribble, but then encounters Scott Williams, who rotates over to block the shot. When you rebound the ball, if you're Portland against Chicago, you must protect it. They hang in and try and deflect your outlet passes. Jordan coming from behind, the steal, the dunk. Rick Adelman not particularly happy. He felt there was a foul on the play.
Chicago opened this fourth quarter with a 14-2 run, and they did it with Michael Jordan on the bench for the first 3.5 minutes of the fourth. Phil Jackson going with a hybrid lineup, and it worked. The Blazers and Bulls tied at 89. Chicago getting for its second straight NBA championship. Portland trying to tie the series. looking to extend to a 7th game here in Chicago on Wednesday. Shot clock down to 5. Jordan, that was deflected short by Drexler. And Buck Williams able to come away with it.
And again, Scottie Pippen slapping at the basketball after Buck came up with the rebound. Remember, the advantage now in timeouts, definitely on Chicago's side.
Here's Williams. He was set up beautifully, but missed the layup.
We mentioned earlier the number of layups and inside shots that they have missed, Portland. You have to convert those.
Scottie Pippen does convert to give Chicago a 91-89 lead. 2:15 remaining in the fourth.
I'm kind of missing where Jerome Kersey has been offensively for the last portion of the game.
Porter stripped by Paxson, and it will be Chicago ball. Ed Rush says it was knocked out of bounds by Terry Porter.
Porter on the way up. Paxson with the hand in there to strip, and then out of bounds on the sideline.
A minute 50 to go in the fourth. Chicago with a 2-point lead. Drexler playing with 4. Shot clock at 3. Yes! And a timeout call with a minute 39 remaining in the fourth.
The reason that you can't double team back on Michael quickly is because Paxson is standing right outside. He gets a great look, knocks it down from short range.
Portland has taken its final timeout. Chicago has outscored Portland 29-10. Here in the fourth quarter as they've come back from a 17-point deficit. In the history of the NBA Finals, the largest lead at the end of 3 quarters with a team coming from behind to win was 12. The San Francisco Warriors trailed Philadelphia 96-84 back in April of 1967. And San Francisco came back to win the game. Chicago trailed by 15, 79-64, going to this fourth quarter.
Now, I mentioned before about Jerome Kersey. His last score was with 5:22 left in the third quarter. He has 22 points at that time and still has 22.
Here's Drexler, rejected by Williams, but a foul is called. Michael Jordan called for the foul, and Clyde Drexler will go to the line.
The Chicago defense is a suffocating defense. When you make a move on the interior, they always have people there to challenge. Williams' block was good. The foul was called on the way up on Michael Jordan.
Drexler 6 of 6 from the line. He has 23 points, and the Blazers 18 of 18 from the free throw line. The Bulls by 3. 1:31 to go in the fourth. It's a 2-point lead. Portland has used all its timeouts. Ames staying with Pippen in the backcourt.
You dig in now defensively, you must get a stop. There's plenty of time in the basketball game for Portland to come back, tie it, and take the lead.
Shot clock at 10. And a hold on Drexler. That is his 5th. Is a non-shooting foul.
Clyde, realizing that they have a foul to give before it becomes bonus, takes one outside before Michael can turn the corner.
1:13 remaining in the fourth. Bulls get the new 24. Both teams have 4 team fouls.
They've been isolating Michael on that left side of the floor. Here's where he knocked down the jump over Clyde last time.
Scott Williams takes the shot. That is not what the Bulls had in mind. Drexler. And it's called a jump ball. Drexler thought he was fouled.
Well, you had Chicago who wanted an offensive foul call. Portland wanted the foul call. Both players had established their position. Williams was under the rim. You're not going to get a charge in the NBA that close to the rim. Drexler wanted the call on the rotating Grant, hitting him on the right side.
49 seconds remaining fourth quarter. The Bulls 93, the Blazers 91.
Grant will try and drop it between Jordan and Williams on a safety tap right here if he can get it.
Mike Mathis attempting to line them up. And the call is Portland ball, deflected out by Chicago. Ed Rush conferring with Hugh Evans, who had another angle, and they've changed the call. The ball goes to Chicago.
Well, Buck gets it in there late, and it's Clyde who sticks that right hand up and touches Clyde's hands, evidently, on the way out of bounds.
The Bulls with the ball and a 2-point lead.
You don't foul now. You dig in and get a stop.
Here's Jordan. The Bulls 95, the Blazers 91. Drexler for 3. Kept alive by Kersey. And the foul is called. It's on Pippen. Chicago over the limit.
Portland never rotates over in time as Michael comes from the right side of the floor. It was an isolation created almost by happenstance. It was there. Michael took advantage of it, saw the opening, took it to the rim.
Michael Jordan coming on in the second half. He has 31. Portland is 19 for 19 from the line. Kersey on the line for the first time. Kersey, a 66% free throw shooter. Cliff Robinson checking in. Replacing Danny Ainge. 27 seconds to go in the fourth. The Bulls lead it by 3.
You have John Paxson boxing out Terry Porter outside the three-point line. You have Michael Jordan paying attention to Drexler so that Portland doesn't miss on purpose, and those guys come flying in. You must be 6 feet behind to give the shooter room as to where you can line up.
It's a 2-point Chicago lead. Pressure by the Blazers. Drexler playing with 5 fouls, going for the steal against Jordan. Now Jordan met by Porter. There's a 2-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. And now the foul given by Porter.
See, they have no timeouts left, so it's not like they can advance the ball to the half-court line after it. So you go for the steal in the backcourt, and then once it gets over the 10-second line, you must foul so that you get a chance to at least come back and score. You hope that they miss their free throw opportunities.
Michael Jordan is 3 of 3 from the line. He's an 83% free throw shooter. 11 and 8/10 seconds to go in the fourth. The Bulls lead by 2. Chicago 96, Portland 93. The Blazers do not have any timeouts left.
Portland placing 2 players down the floor to try and get a quick hurry-up offense going after this free throw.
4-point Chicago lead. Drexler was checking, thought there might have been a timeout remaining. Here's Kersey for 3. Paxson with the rebound. Time running down. The Chicago Bulls have won the NBA championship for the 2nd straight season. Chicago Bulls coming from behind. They were down by as many as 17, and they have defeated the Portland TrailBlazers 97-93 to take the series in 6. The last team to win a title in Chicago, the 1963 Chicago Bears, who defeated the New York Giants. Chicago Stadium has not hosted a hometown clinching since back in 1938, when the Chicago Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup. Michael Jordan led the way with 33. Scottie Pippen had 26. 24 apiece for Clyde Drexler and Jerome Kersey. But the Bulls, with a sensational come-from-behind effort, are able to pull it out. We'll be back with the championship presentation in a moment.
Somewhere in the bedlam of the Chicago Bulls locker room, Bob Costas surrounded by the commissioner, Jerry Krause, the general manager, the principal owner, Jerry Reinsdorf. Get up here, Phil. Phil Jackson, the coach. Go ahead, Commish, with the official presentation of the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
1 is great, 2 is almost impossible. Congratulations, Chicago. It was a great series and a great year.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner, a year ago, you gave us the first trophy. I can't believe a whole year has gone by. Last year was satisfying because a great general manager did a lot of things that weren't popular and we won. But this is even better because it establishes the Bulls as one of the upper echelon teams of all time. I can't tell you how happy I am.
Jerry, a quick comment on the team you helped to build.
Just the happiest moment in many, many years. Oh, it feels so good, Bobby.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Let's turn to Coach Phil Jackson. Phil, is it possible to evaluate which of these 2 championships required more of your coaching skill?
No. These players last year took it on themselves. This year, everybody had to dig it out to win. And this game tonight was typical of a team comeback, and we had to play great team ball to win.
How about the lineup you went with during a stretch where you outscored them 14-2 with Michael on the bench? Williams and Hansen, and thank you very much.
All right, Rob. Yes, it was a lineup in which we just had to get some energy out there. We were tired. Our defense wasn't stepping up. We needed some energy from their kids, and they came out and really helped us go.
I'm sure you'd like to say something about the TrailBlazers. Rick Alleman was upset about the notion that either the Bulls win or lose, but the TrailBlazers are kind of their foils, and tonight the TrailBlazers did themselves proud.
Oh, they're a great team. There's no doubt about their team effort. They played better on the road tonight than they did at home, and you got to give them a lot of credit for that, Bob.
All right, let's go over to Scottie Pippen, who is nearby. Scottie. Whoa. Hang on, Cliff. Scottie, there had been some criticism of you not playing up to last year's form. You were big in the 7th game against the Cavaliers. You were huge, especially in the 4th quarter tonight.
But I've been always able to bounce back, and I think my teammates is a big part of that because they've always been behind me and helped me, you know, when the critics were down on me. That's why I really appreciate this championship now.
That's
I really get a lot of critics off my back. I still got a few more months of the Olympics to deal with it, but I just appreciate my teammates being able to step forward and help me out.
Yeah. Horace Grant, the nucleus of this ball club is very young, averaging around 27. I know you're basking in the celebration here, but this team could be a very, very good team for a long time.
Oh, definitely. We're a very young team, and we have some young players on here. And we just went out and took it. Yes. Yes, baby. Woo.
Bobby, a big 3-pointer in the middle of the run, and then you stripped Kersey underneath. That was part of a run in which you were on the floor with some unlikely teammates in a 14-2 stretch.
That's what we prepared the whole year for, Bob, and we just hung together down 16, 17 points, and yeah, this guy carried us home, but we needed a little momentum shifter at that time. We got it with a 3-pointer, and it's great to be a part of it.
Michael, you told me the other night in Portland, this one would be more relief. The other one was exhilaration. You still feel the same?
It is, man. It's just so gratifying for me personally. You know, I went through a lot of hard times this year, but you know, I stayed strong. Everybody supported me. We played well today. I'm glad for Bobby Hansen. He's the only guy that didn't have it. I'm glad for him.
There were stretches in the playoffs where you had to carry your team. You were the high scorer again tonight, but you got help, especially from Scottie.
everybody contributed. Scotty was a real big emphasis in the third and fourth quarter, and I had a rough first half, but these guys carried us, and I was able to get in there in the fourth quarter and help pull it through. So it was a good team effort.
I think, Michael, we've got a package here of some of the baskets you scored down the stretch. From the time that Pippen's three tied it at 85, you and Scotty got all the points.
Yeah, we played well. We were able to 1-2 combination all year long. And I've always said that, Scotty takes pressure off me as much as I take pressure off him. So, we played extremely well down the stretch, both of us. Here I was able to get a steal as Scotty blocked out Buck Williams and got the dunk, and, that put us up 2 points. So it was a good effort by everybody, I just tried to post up. I learned from the lesson when, game 4 when Drexler knocked that away from me. So I was prepared, and here I go to the hole, trying to get a foul or get a layup, So it was a good effort. I'm glad they gave me a chance to redeem myself.
And this is the free throw that seals it. What was going through your mind at this moment?
If I don't make these free throws, they're going to haunt me for the rest of my life. So I was really concentrating on it.
You started very slowly. I think you had 2 points in the first quarter, and the TrailBlazers were all over you guys for 3 periods.
I know. I was going to be very passive and see how the other guys played early. But I got in a bad rhythm myself, and, they played extremely well defensively, and somehow we got it going. And once we got it going, there was no stopping us.
Did you have a chance to say anything to Drexler or he to you?
No, I was too elated. I'm going to go over and say hello. Say thank you. It was a great competition. It was tough luck, but somebody had to lose. I'm glad it was us.
Michael, congratulations.
Thank you.
Looking around for somebody else. Here's Bill Cartwright. Bill. A long career with ups and downs in it until you wind up in Chicago for a couple back-to-back. Can you put it in any kind of perspective?
Bob, we just had a great organization. We got players together. We kept building every year. Got the first championship. It was tougher the second time around to get the second championship. We came through with it with a tough effort. I got the win.
Bill, congratulations. John Paxson is somewhere in the vicinity, I'm told. Where's Johnny? B.J. Armstrong. B.J., slide on in here.
Bob, how you doing?
Tonight, you were part of that lineup that really turned the game around. I mean, Portland had a 17-point lead in the second half. And with Michael on the bench for a while, you were in there, Hansen was in there, Williams and some others, and that's when the 14-2 run happened.
Yeah, we did. We had a great run, and we just tried to get our energy up, get some easy transition buckets. It was just a great way to get us going, and I'm just very happy and fortunate to be a part of a championship ball club.
We're going to get John Paxson in here for a quick word. John, overall, this series wasn't looking like as good a series for you as the Laker championship a year ago until the last couple of games, and then you lit it up again.
Well, it was, last year for me was tough to match personally, but winning another one after, the only way I can explain it is when you try to repeat, everybody's coming at you. The only way you can really succeed is to win it again, or else you failed. And the way we played that fourth quarter, the entire effort from the defensive end to the offensive end was unbelievable.
Can you compare the two? You won 67 in the regular season. In that sense, you're better. You lost 7 in the playoffs this year. You breezed through with only 2 losses last year. Is there a comparison possible?
Well, this year I think it's better just because we had everybody shooting at us from day one. And to come out and win it the way we did was impressive. What a great way to win it.
John, congratulations.
Appreciate it.
From the locker room of the world champion Chicago Bulls, and Pat Riley, if you're watching, this is the look you were striving for last year. So there it is for you, pal. And let's go back to Marv at courtside.
All right, Bob, and most unusual situation here with the, I would say, a good portion of the crowd still on hand. This capacity crowd, for the most part, has not left. And I would think they're hoping that some of the Bulls players come back onto the court so they can shower their good feelings about them.
There's no question. The people are here waiting and hoping that the players will at least come up one more time. And, you know, these fans are so good here in this building. They work so hard during the course of the season. It would be a nice gesture if the players feel safe enough to come up and do it.
Ahmad Rashad is trying to make his way to the Portland TrailBlazer locker room, and we're told that Rick Adelman has closed the locker room. So if we're able to get some reaction from the TrailBlazers, we'll bring it to you. But I know we will be signing off very shortly.
Well, I think that you talk about coaches having a feel for their basketball team. Phil Jackson tonight knew his starting unit was out of sync. He gambled. They were down 15 points. He went to that second group, and that second group, along with Scottie Pippen, got it going. Then at the right times, Jordan and Pippen take back over down the stretch for Chicago. Timing, substitutions, and then all the guys responding to the challenge. A terrific team effort for Chicago.
And we're told the Portland locker room is still closed, so apparently we will not be able to get post-game reaction from the TrailBlazers. And we can look for impact changes, I would think, next year by Portland.
Well, you won't find that out, obviously, until they get together and decide what their problems were. But this team has reached the finals 2 out of the last 3 years. They played an excellent game this evening, playing very well away from home, as they did in the first 2 games. Half the first game, the entire second game where they got to win. Do you shake a team up just because you get to the finals and lose? That's a real difficult decision.
All right, Chicago takes the series in 6. Michael Jordan started slowly and then came out of the fourth quarter. In fact, Jordan with 12 of Chicago's last 19 points, as Chicago hit 13 of 19 overall from the floor in the fourth quarter. And we're told they are bringing the championship trophy to the floor, and when the trophy makes its way out here, they will go wild. The Chicago Bulls winning the NBA championship for a second straight season. For all of us here at NBC Sports, it has been a delight to present the NBA telecast, and we certainly appreciate your joining us right throughout the season. So once again, for the Chicago Bulls, it's been a case of winning it all.